Anyone who knows me knows that Avatar: The Last Airbender is my favorite show. Not just my favorite animated show, my favorite show. The character development, the story themes, the humor, everything about this show is perfection. I know I'm being really intense right now, but I'm just really excited. I love this show, and I've been waiting to make this video for so long. So, in this video, we are going to be talking about the Enneagram types of the characters in Avatar: The Last Airbender. If you don't know who I am, I'm Abby Howe, and I'm here to help you discover you. This is my YouTube channel all about the Enneagram and personality types. So if you want to learn more about the Enneagram and see more videos like this, make sure that you're subscribed to this channel. So I'm starting with my personal favorite character, Sokka.
Food eats people. My first girlfriend turned into the moon. Just a guy with a boomerang. I didn't ask for all this flying and magic.
Sokka's defining trait is his loyalty. He commits himself to his family and to Aang, putting all of his effort and his talent into defeating the Fire Nation. His core desire is to have security and support in his life. That's why I think that Sokka is an Enneagram type 6, the loyalist. As a child, Sokka lost his mother and his father went away to fight in the war. He was left the oldest remaining male in the village. I think this defining life event made him take his responsibilities really seriously. He constantly goes through worst case scenario thinking because he's already lived through a lot of worst case scenarios. Like a 6, Sokka thrives in preparation. His biggest contribution to the group is his ability to strategize. He is adept at systematically predicting potential problems and creating clever solutions. And this ability comes in handy during battle, like in the Day of Black Sun. I think that Sokka is at his healthiest when he embraces his ability to lead and to collaborate with a group of people. I mean, he's a teenager planning battle tactics against the freaking Fire Nation. But when Sokka is out of alignment, he can be highly suspicious of other people.
We're in enemy territory. Those are enemy birds.
He doubts himself and others, and he's constantly looking for danger around every corner. In stress, the 6 moves to an unhealthy 3. So I think that we can see this when Sokka is arrogantly believing that he is the only person who can see potential outcomes. For example, when he first meets Suki, he arrogantly assumes that just because she's a girl, she can't fight and that he is just naturally better than her. Over the course of the 3 seasons, however, we see Sokka grow into an extremely aligned Enneagram 6. He gains the ability to trust himself, he delights in his accomplishments, and he's so brave. Now let's explore the Enneagram type of Sokka's sister and everybody's favorite waterbender, Katara.
Have you ever smelled your dirty socks? Let me tell you, not pleasant! Sokka and I, we're your family now.
Katara is a passionate, ethical individual who spends her time trying to improve herself and the world around her. Because Katara desires to be virtuous and good above all, I believe that she is an Enneagram 1, the perfectionist. Enneagram 1s strive to do what they view as right and good. They feel personally obligated to be an example of how a responsible person should behave. We see this quality in the idealistic tendencies of Katara. When Master Pakku refuses to teach her waterbending just because she's a girl, she feels that injustice so deeply, and so she challenges him to a fight. Her actions end up changing not only her own ability to learn waterbending, but also opens up the option for all the girls in the waterbending tribes to learn how to bend. We see her advocating for others constantly in this series. She is Aang's biggest advocate. She is always there for him, even when other people are not. And she advocates for that small town who is suffering from the injustices of the Fire Nation as the Painted Lady. Enneagram 1s are in the gut triad, which means that they tend to approach life from their gut instincts. They struggle with repressing feelings of anger against themselves when they don't measure up to their very high internal standards. We often see Katara struggling with the harsh standards that she sets for herself and for others. For example, when Toph joins the group, Katara expresses lots of righteous anger because she believes that Toph is not contributing to the group in the way that Katara believes she should.
Ever since you joined us, you've been nothing but selfish and unhelpful.
I think we can all agree that Katara is kind, compassionate, and smart. not to mention totally badass. Without her guidance and her support and her love, I don't think that Aang would have grown to be the man that we see at the end of season 3. At her best, Katara operates with grace and compassion towards herself and others as she strives to make the world a better place. Now let's talk about the man of the hour, Avatar Aang.
Will you go penguin sledding with me?
I'm saying I would rather kiss you than die. That's a compliment. In our group, typically we start out our missions with a more upbeat attitude.
Some people think that Aang is an Enneagram 7, but I am going to make a case for why I believe that Aang is an Enneagram 9, the peacemaker. Though Aang shows the stereotypical childlike play and wonder of an Enneagram 7, I ultimately believe that his core desire is to find inner peace of mind. Not only is this influenced by his role as the Avatar, but he was raised by pacifist air nomads who highly valued inner and outer serenity. And Enneagram 9's core fear is being in conflict. Aang is constantly running from his issues. I mean, the entire reason he got stuck in an iceberg for 100 years is because he was running away from his problems. Throughout the series, Aang has to learn how to grow from a conflict-avoidant boy into a fully aligned Enneagram 9 who can boldly pursue his purpose. Aang is also very spiritual, with the ability to meditate and connect to many of his past lives. I think that many Enneagram 9s are adept at connecting with their spirituality, especially because their main drive in life is to satisfy their longing for harmony. Like Katara, Aang is in the gut triad, which means that he has a deep well of anger that rarely comes out. But when it does, watch out, world. We see this anger come out in Aang in full force when Appa is stolen by the Sandbenders.
Where is my bison?
In the same way that he represses his anger, Aang also represses himself. He can become disengaged and fall asleep to his desires, which is a core weakness of the Enneagram 9. For example, when Sozin's comet is drawing near, Aang avoids sleeping because he's having all of these terrible nightmares. By putting off the thing that's making him uncomfortable, he actually makes the problem worse because now he's about to face the Fire Lord and he's exhausted. When Aang is most aligned with himself, he's able to defeat the Fire Lord without compromising on his core values. He finally accepts that his voice and his presence matter. Ultimately, his character growth and his growth as a 9 lead him to saving the world. Let's talk about earthbending extraordinaire Toph.
Let the blind girl steer the giant airship.
Oh, Sokka, you saved me.
Toph is an intense, straightforward leader with a great ability to fight for what she believes in. I think that Toph's core desire is to protect herself and the people that she loves, which is why I think that she is an Enneagram Type 8, the Challenger. The best way to see this illustrated is to look at Toph's greatest fear. When she's kept hidden and protected behind her wealthy family's walls, she is slowly dying inside. Though Toph is the blind one, her parents are actually the ones who are blind to her ability to earthbend and protect herself. This feeling of being trapped and suffocated by her parents and the world's expectations of her is ultimately what drives her to run away from home. And Enneagram 8's greatest fear is to be weak and powerless. We actively see Toph fight this fear, like when she bends metal to get out of her cage.
I am the greatest earthbender in the world.
When she's out of alignment, Toph can be abrasive and vengeful. However, as she grows throughout the course of the show, we see her positive 8 traits emerge. I think a great example of using her intensity to plow a path for others is in the episode Bitter Work, when Toph learns how to effectively train and coach Aang. Ultimately, we see Toph grow into an aligned Enneagram 8 with the ability to protect herself and others while also opening up her heart to trust and love. Okay guys, it's Zuko time.
Hello, Zuko here.
I'm angry at myself! He will welcome me home with honor.
Zuko's I want throughout the entire series is his honor, and boy, does he not hesitate to say that.
Because their honor didn't hinge on the Avatar's capture. I want my honor. There's no honor. My honor. My honor. My honor.
So what does that honor mean to him? In the beginning of the series, his honor means that he gains his identity back as Prince of the Fire Nation and regains his father's approval. Throughout the series, however, we see Zuko's idea of honor evolve. Zuko battles his feelings that there is something fundamentally flawed within him, and he's always searching for belonging. Whether that be in the Fire Nation or with Team Avatar, Avatar. This desire is why I believe that Zuko is an Enneagram 4, the individualist. On the surface, I think that Zuko does present as a stereotypical 4 because he's so moody and melancholy. He has fits of passion, and he even physically has a mark on his face that makes him different from other people. To really understand Zuko's inner Enneagram 4, however, we really need to look at his core motivations. So the core weakness of an Enneagram 4 is envy. This means that 4s feel like they are tragically flawed. They lack that elusive thing that helps other people find belonging. Once Zuko conquers this core weakness in himself, he stops focusing on who he's supposed to be. Instead, he finds empathy. Empathy for the people in the Fire Nation and other nations who are suffering from the war. Empathy for Aang, empathy for Katara. Empathy changes the direction of Zuko's moral compass. So now we get to a 4's core longing, which is you are seen and loved for exactly who you are, special and unique. Uncle Iroh, May, and Team Avatar all pour into Zuko, showing him that he is loved and valued exactly for who he is right now. This leads him to being the man that we see at the end of the series, a wise and empathetic leader who's focused on doing what is right. And finally, let's talk about the most amazing antagonist, Azula.
And he considers you a miserable failure for not finding the Avatar. We've defeated you for all time. You will never rise from the ashes of your shame and humiliation. I am about to celebrate becoming an only child.
It pains me to say this, but I feel like Azula and I are the same Enneagram number. Yes, I'm an Enneagram 3, aka the Achiever. Now, before all my fellow 3s get really upset, let's just acknowledge right off the bat that Azula is obviously extremely out of alignment of her healthy level of being a 3. And also, fellow 3s, can we just all relish that we get to share an Enneagram number with the coolest villain of all time? On the surface, Azula presents as a driven and accomplished person. She's the best firebender in the nation. She is a teenager having meetings with military leaders. She's super skilled at strategy, as seen in the coup at Ba Sing Se. To really see how Azula is an Enneagram 3 though, let's take a look at her core motivations. A 3's core desire is to have high status, respect, and to be seen as successful. Azula is constantly striving to be the best. For example, when she's practicing firebending, Lo and Lee tell Azula that she's almost perfect, and Azula gets visibly upset and she says perfect isn't good enough. In the episode The Beach, the kids are taken out of their normal environment and we get to see glimpses of Azula's true inner desires.
I could sit here and complain how our mom liked Zuko more than me, but I don't really care. My own mother thought I was a monster.
We realize that she thought her mom liked Zuko better than her, and we see her struggling to be liked and admired and accepted by the other teenagers at the party. The core longing of an Enneagram 3 is to be loved and valued simply for being yourself. Though Azula has environmental factors and mental health issues governing her decisions, I believe that underneath her brutality is a girl who just wants to be loved and valued by her family. When I look at the analytics of my YouTube channel, I see that a lot of people watch these videos, but they're not actually subscribed. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure that you like this video and subscribe to this channel. By doing these things, it shows YouTube, hey, people like this, and ultimately will help me continue to make videos on this channel. So that said, I want you guys to know that I welcome all energetic discussion on the Enneagram types of Avatar: The Last Airbender characters in the comments down below. It makes me so happy. What Enneagram type is Appa? I thought about this, but I didn't know if I had enough evidence to type an animal, so please help me.